Hey guys, here's what I've got going on here. This is my F450. It started overheating on the way to the shop out here. So I pulled over on the side of the highway, popped the hood, checked the coolant level in the degas bottle, and checked for leaks, all that normal stuff you do if you're overheating on the road. The degas bottle, the level was increased. It was up somewhere around here. But anyway, no leaks, none of that. So I decided to let it cool off and then continue on to the shop, so I can, dig further into it. Let it cool off, get back out onto the highway. It goes up to normal operating temperature and kind of floats around normal operating temperature. So I'm like thinking, okay, yeah, well, seems like the thermostats are working. And then out of nowhere, it just increases temperature real fast. Rapidly. So pull back over onto the side of the highway, let it cool off. Did this several times, and it takes forever for this thing to cool off. But each time, I'd kind of check on some things, and I noticed that the upper radiator hose was piping hot, and the level of the coolant in here was all the way to the top. And it kind of seeped out a little bit, but I'm sure it got over 16 psi is probably why. It didn't leak out a lot. This cap I replace these caps often because I've read about this, the whole, the old version of these with the small spring fails, and then it won't hold 16 psi, which lowers your boiling point, and then you have all kinds of problems like cavitation and all that stuff. So no, this was not the problem. This thing was good. But yeah, level was high. The hose was piping hot on the upper radiator hose was coming from the thermostats. But the lower hose was cold. Not even lukewarm. Not even like, even a little bit warm. It was like the motor had been off for days or whatever. Anyway, so that gave me the idea that maybe the radiator is plugged or something. I don't know, or maybe the thermostats. Maybe that's a common problem from thermostats or whatever. So I don't know. Anyway, I finally got it to the shop, and I decided, you know what? I don't know anything about this truck. I don't know anything about, what the previous owner has done to it. So at the bare minimum, I'm going to replace the thermostats, replace the water pump, and go from there. Those are the cheaper things to fix, and it's good to do regardless because I don't know the history. So I pulled the thermostats last night. Here it is right here. This is the thermostat housing. Short thermostat is cocked over, kind of come out of the groove there and made its own little notch, and hard to see on the camera, but it has made its own groove in this. It's hard to see on this, but I don't know if these are, these require movement to work right within this slot. I don't know, but that certainly was not moving. I don't know enough about this thermostat setup. It's not like, doesn't seem like it's a typical system like you see on like a Toyota or something, or just, a little car. Those I understand. This is very foreign to me. So if somebody has any info that could shed light on how this system works, because I know this one does not do the same exact thing that this one does, or they'd be like the same size, and they, this routes to different ports in the front engine cover than this one does, and then this one is totally shaped differently and all that. So I don't really, it's got this little, it seems like a little bypass or something, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. if this is the reason for my overheating or if this is just some other problem I've come across. But in any case, I can't use this housing because I can't put these new thermostats in here and have it catch in this groove and have it all screwed up, and it's just, that's junk now. Fortunately for me, I have another 6.4 liter truck, and it had some engine problems early on in life. I pulled the valve cover on it, and one of the rockers was laying over, and so I put the rocker back on. It's like, oh, how did that come? I mean, how did that happen? But I put it back on and torqued it to the spec and all that, and then wiggled it and it fell back over. Realized then that the push rod was way down into the motor. So as far as I understand, the lifters on these motors are roller lifters, and I'm kind of wondering if the roller lifter spun like 90 degrees or something, or it's turned, and the camshaft ground itself down against it, and that, I believe, is my problem. But anyway, that motor had low miles on it, so I said, you know what, just to get this truck turned back around quickly, I can take the thermostat housing off of it. So I took it off of that truck. This one's in better shape. This truck had no cooling issues, but it does have a slight groove that is starting to wear here. I think it's starting to cock over. This must be a common problem, I'm guessing, because I mean, I don't know how. I've got two trucks that have this starting to go on, but I've never read about it, is the thing. I've never, so maybe it is not an issue, but just really weird. So the plan was, okay, this is good enough. I'm gonna deem this good enough. I'm gonna put it on there, but put these new ones in it. Then I got the idea, you know, I need to go clean out, make sure that the front cover where these go into is cleaned out and there's nothing wrong inside there. Well, I go look at it. I have it off the motor now because, well, you're gonna find out that there are plenty of problems with this car. All right, I look down in there. This is where the thermostats go. That's where the short thermostat is. This is where the long thermostat goes. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. Yeah, it's got a real deep groove worn in there from the long thermostat, like extending into it. I'm wondering what the heck is going on here. It's not even centered either. So I went over to the other truck, the donor truck, just to see if that one has it. No issue here. You can see down in there that that's just factory machine ground. I mean, no groove or anything in there, so it looks good. I decided I've got to change the front cover too, and I'm just going to use it off this truck. I can't even find one online. But then I pulled the water pump off of this one. Looks good. I mean, it's pretty smooth. There is some cavitation right here in the bottom. I'm gonna have to run it because, like I said, I can't even find a front cover anymore. So I got that prepared. I pulled the low pressure oil pump off, prepared it. This wear ring or wear sleeve, I think is what they call it. This goes underneath the crankshaft seal. It prevents that from coming out, which ultimately prevents this from coming off, this cover. I could either get, this is no issue, I can either get the installation, or not the installation tool, the removal tool for that, or I can just, I've seen some videos with some guys that just put some heat to it with the torch and pop it right off there. That's probably what I'll do. So no issues there. I think that cover will work for me with the housing that was on it. The problem starts here. I pulled the water pump off of the 450 cover. And here's what we got. That's some kind of cavitation there. So when I pulled this off the water pump, it had 4 of the 5 bolts. So somebody has been in here. Fortunately, it did not leak out right here. But how did they miss this? I mean, I know this didn't just happen just all of a sudden. This, whenever that water pump, the water pump that was on here was good, and that's probably because they replaced it. But I don't know how you would just look at that and ignore it. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty screwed up. So I took that off, and then I proceeded to take the low pressure oil pump off. Now, as you can see, I've got this thing off the truck. How did I get this off the truck if there's a wear sleeve there? Well, that's my next thing. This is my next question for everyone. I look closer at it. So all this just came right off. If you look at the crankshaft, where the wear sleeve is on the other crankshaft, there's green from the seal. This did not have the wear sleeve. So everything was able to slide right off. And I think the reason for that is the seals. The seals here. Here's the crankshaft seal that was on that F450. This is the water oil pump that was on the F450. It was like that, and that was directly on the crankshaft. Now, if you look at the one off of donor truck, that seal, that was the one with the wear ring. This truck, I'm almost certain, has never been broken into ever since it came from the factory. So I think this seal came from the factory with that wear bushing. This one here obviously has been broken into to some extent because it had a new water pump with 4 bolts instead of 5. And I'm thinking that they changed this. I think this is actually the factory. This is actually a factory seal, like a genuine Ford seal. But I think it's a revision. I think this is original, like the AA revision. And if you look online, I go to FordPartsGiant.com often, and I look up these seals for this, and it comes up with the C3Z whatever blah 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 with a B on the end of it. So like a revision B. I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, this is the new seal they decided to go with that does not require a wear sleeve, and this is revision A. If somebody with more insight on this could confirm this to me, that would be just great, because I don't want to put this together until I know I'm doing this right. But this also, on that note, when this was on there, this was not leaking oil. So, I mean, I don't know. And then I see like Diesel Tech Ron, he puts Loctite around I think the inside of the wear ring, I believe. I don't know that I should be putting Loctite on this. I don't know. I mean, if somebody's got more insight on this, I would appreciate that. But yeah, that's, I guess, my concern here is this what caused my overheating? And or might this be what caused my overheating? And how the heck do these work? I mean, like, what is the operation of these? How, like this little pin here, I don't understand what that does. And this seal, is this? I mean, I ordered the seal, and online it looks like this one. The B version. I can't find a picture of the A version. But I'm thinking that is it. And I don't think it comes with a wear ring. If I need to get a wear ring, could somebody please let me know that? Other than that, there was only one other issue I saw, but it was actually with the donor truck. And it might be related to my catastrophic failure up there at the camshaft and the lifter. If you look inside this, you can see some very, I mean, I can feel that as I scratch across it. There's some grooves kind of worn in this and you can see that this has some grooves in it too. They're not terrible. You can almost not feel them, but this thing was rubbing. The inner ring looks like it was rubbing pretty bad. So kind of indicates to me that this thing was starved of oil somehow. I always had oil in the truck, but maybe the pickup tube or however the oil gets from the pan to here wasn't working. And maybe that starved the top end and caused my problem, but I don't see how it would only happen with one random lobe, but you never know. I don't know. If you look at the inside of this one, this is off the F450. It's got like the factory, you know, machining marks, and so it's in good shape, and then that's in good shape, so I don't see a problem with that one. I'm going to use this one and this, and I'm going to replace that for the donor truck. I'm going to use this, but yeah, that's the extent of what I've got going on right now. But yeah, if you've got any insight that may help, I would really thank you for that. Thanks for looking. Bye-bye.